Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Read Aloud with Miss Cope. Thank you for those of you who are continuing to watch my read alouds and keeping up with all the ones I post every day. Thank you. We are reading It Ain't So Awful Falafel by Feroze Dumas. It's such a good book so far. I've learned so much about the Iranian culture, so thank you, Miss Dumas, for sharing this piece of literature. Today is Tuesday and it's May 19th. It is gorgeous out there from what I can tell. So I can't wait to get all my work done and go outside today and just lay in the sun. My ankle is still healing, so I'm still doing some laying and keeping my leg up, but that's okay. I'm gonna enjoy it anyway. I hope you do too. All right, so the chapter we left off on is called Ayatollah Khomeini, if I said it right. After roll call in English, Miss D'Angelo says, "Cindy, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in Iran? Who is this Ayatollah Khomeini, who is suddenly all over the news? I'm not really sure," I say. I had never heard of him until now. Really, Miss D'Angelo sounds surprised. He certainly seems to be a key player in all this. Maybe you can get back to us next week for an extra credit project? Wouldn't that be interesting? She says, looking to the class. Nobody says anything. That would be interesting. One lone voice speaks up. Thank you, Carolyn, Miss D'Angelo says. Alrighty then, do you want to do this, Cindy? Well, I would love to hear it, she adds. Okay, I'm not looking forward to this. I appreciate that Carolyn is interested, but that brings the grand total of interested people to 2. Maybe 3. I don't want to stand up in front of the class and talk about my country that I don't even understand anymore. Why do I have to be from a country that is suddenly all over the news? That stinks. First of all, her teacher put her on the spot. And second of all, she's been living in America, so she probably feels disconnected. Next chapter. Allo, allo. That night, our phones kept ringing. We received more calls from Iran than we have in all the years we've been in America. No one has anything new to say. It's the same conversation over and over, followed by, "I can't believe it." Right when the phone finally stops, someone knocks on our door. My dad and I open it. It's Mr. Klein. "Hi, Mo." "Hi, Sydney." "Hey, are you going to the meet and greet tomorrow night?" "No, thank you," my father says. I could have guessed that one. "That's too bad. Since I'm not going to see you there, do you have a minute? I have a couple questions about Iran." I hate this sudden popularity. I don't want to answer questions about Iran all the time. Yes, my father says. "Please come in. Would you like something to eat or drink?" Mr. Klein keeps talking as he enters. "I'm fine, thank you." Lucky for him, my mom is in the shower. Otherwise, the food and drink part of the conversation would not end so quickly and easily. So, as I understand it, the Ayatollah is the man behind the revolution. He managed to get millions of people protesting in the streets, and now the Shah gets the heck out of Dodge. What is going on? I know my father is wondering where Dodge is. This is a very good question, David. My dad said, sitting on the sofa. I sit down next to him, across from Mr. Klein. Iran's history is long and complicated. What is happening now cannot be explained quickly, so I give you a very short answer. I can explain more later when we have more time. It's a deal, Dr. Klein says, crossing his legs. Between 1951 and 1953, we have a democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mozdej. He was very popular and very good for Iran. The U.S. and the British overthrew him in a secret operation. We did that? Asked Dr. Klein. Not you, but the government. Why? Oil profits. Geez, I never knew that, says Dr. Klein. The U.S. and the British put the Shah in power because he was willing to do whatever they wanted. So the Shah was already unpopular with the Iranians, who felt like he was just a puppet of the Western powers. He symbolized the loss of democracy. I see, Dr. Klein nodding. Now, I skip ahead to 14 years ago. The Shah kicked Ayatollah Khomeini out of Iran. Why? Dr. Klein asked. Again, the answer is long, so I give the short version. My dad takes a deep breath. I want to hear this too. The Shah wanted to modernize Iran. He used some of the oil money to invest in the country, like for transportation, water, and power. He called this his White Revolution. Sounds good, Dr. Klein says. He created more educational opportunities for everyone. He gave women more freedom. There were female ministers, congresswomen, and women in other important roles in the government. This part was true progress. I have a lot to say for Miss D'Angelo's class now. But there was also a bad side. The White Revolution was supposed to spread the oil money. Instead, it ended up in the hands of a very few who got richer and richer. Friends of the Shah were all very, very wealthy. The money did not trickle down, even though the Shah made some improvements to the country. The rich got richer and the poor got poorer. The difference between the rich and the poor became bigger and bigger. That seems to happen often in history, Dr. Klein comments. My dad nods. What the Shah called progress, many devout Muslims called corruption. Although the clergy in Iran were not happy about many aspects of the White Revolution, the clergy as a whole were not actively protesting. There was one member, however, who often spoke against the Shah and his reforms. His name was Khomeini. Opposing the leader is normal for countries with freedom of speech, but this was Iran. We don't have freedom of speech. In order to silence him, the Shah eventually forced Khomeini into exile in 1964. I bet he regrets that now, adds Dr. Klein. 14 years ago, the Shah kicked Ayatollah Khomeini out of Iran, and now Ayatollah followers kick the Shah out of Iran. The Shah didn't want to hear what his critics had to say, no matter how they said it. The Shah also had secret police who arrested, tortured, and imprisoned those who opposed him. And of course, there was so much corruption. Iranians of all backgrounds were angry at the corruption, except those who benefited from it. And now, here we are, waiting to see what will happen next. Dr. Klein stands up. Thank you, Mo. I hope things work out for the people of Iran. He shakes my dad's hand. I appreciate the history lesson, and let me know about that round of golf. David, I don't know how to play golf, my dad confesses. I'll teach you, Dr. Klein replies. Yes, yes, my dad answers. Well, there you go. Zomorod got more information about what's happening in Iran, and she didn't even ask. Thanks, Dr. Klein. Speech. It's Tuesday, and I'm standing in front of Miss D'Angelo's class, looking at a sea of uninterested faces. My heart is pounding. I have practiced my speech 5 times at home, but it's very different standing here. I wasn't nervous in my room. I now realize that was because I was alone. I look over at Carolyn, who smiled at me. I take a deep breath. I know some of you have been wondering what is going on in Iran, I say. My voice is shaking. Not really, Mike McSummit yells. Excuse me, says Miss D'Angelo, standing up behind her desk. Mike, can we please show some respect for our speaker? Please go ahead, Cindy. She sits back down. Okay, first I'm going to show you Iran on this globe, since a lot of people don't know where it is. And this is Abadan, where I'm from. Abadan is like the polar opposite of Newport Beach. It's known for its huge oil refinery. Everyone we knew in Abadan worked for the National Iranian Oil Company. Otherwise, I'm not sure anyone would live there. It's too hot, I guess. I was born where I was born because of gasoline. She's got gas, someone shouts. I turned red. Miss D'Angelo stands up again. Who said that? Total silence. Please go, Cindy. I apologize. That interruption. It won't happen again, she glares at the class. Now I'm going to tell you a really short version of what is happening over there right now, and then I will explain more. In America, you have a democracy. In Iran, we have a monarchy, which is a type of government where the leadership is passed down in a family. So we don't have elections like you have. Before I can finish my sentence, Stevie St. Clair's hand shoots up in the air. Oh, so it's like a daisy chain of Shahs? I'm confused. Stevie continues, when you make a daisy chain, it's a bunch of daisies that are attached. So in Iran, the ruler is the king, and then his son, and then their sons, and their sons. It's all attached in the same family. I see. I never thought of it that way. Also, the country's name is pronounced Iran. Iran is a sentence. For example, I ran to Iran. I've been saying Iran the whole time wrong. Well, now I know. Iran. It's not Iran. It's not a sentence. Thanks, Zomorod. Stevie smiles. I glanced at Carolyn, who looks like she is trying not to laugh. Let's see, I say, where was I? The Shah did not allow freedom of speech, so people were never allowed to disagree with him. So no rallies or petitions or things like that. Ayatollah Khamenei, who was a cleric, did not agree with a lot of what the Shah was doing, and he and his followers protested rather loudly, so the Shah kicked him out for years ago. And now Khamenei followers kicked out the Shah, and Khamenei is coming back. Before I can say anything else, Flynn Mitchell raises his hand. Yes, I say, pointing to him. It's like those movies where one cowboy goes, this town just ain't big enough for the both of us, so the other one has to leave, except that. Like, instead of cowboys' hats, the dudes are wearing turbans, he said. Everyone laughs. Settle down, Miss D'Angelo warns. Someone else raises his hand. Yes, I say, pointing to a boy whose name I do not know. The Ayatollah is Muslim, right? So is, like, Allah, his God. Allah is the Arabic word for God, I say. It's the same as God. Sherman Dorfman raises his hand. At least I know this will be an intelligent question. Before he can say anything, Mick Summit yells, Sherman Dorfman! Mike's equally stupid friend starts to laugh. Mike, Miss D'Angelo says, go to the principal's office right now. That is the second time you have interrupted this class today. But, no buts. She points to the door. Go now. As Mike shuffles out, I'm desperately trying to think of what I'm going to say next. I guess it's good that people are asking questions. It is good. But I hadn't planned for that. I'm getting even more nervous now. Go ahead, Sherman, Miss D'Angelo says wearily. I just want to point out that Jews, Christians, and Muslims all believe in one God, and they all trace their roots to Abraham, he says. Wow, that was very intelligent of him to say. Thank you, Sherman. And who can tell me the word that means to believe that there is only one God? Sherman and Carolyn raise their hands. Anybody else? Asked Miss D'Angelo. The class is very quiet now. All right, then. Carolyn, what is the word? Monotheism. That's right, Miss D'Angelo says. And for the rest of you, we will be adding monotheism to your vocabulary list this week. I like Miss D'Angelo. Isn't that the kissing disease? Weston Hunt flirts. The class bursts out laughing again. This speech experience is 1,000 times worse than anything I could have imagined. That's mononucleosis, or mono, as you call it, Miss D'Angelo says. And for that, I am adding mononucleosis to the vocabulary list, too. Anybody else want to make a stupid comment? Shall I also add monopoly, monogamy, and molecule? That's not fair. Stevie protests. You know what's not fair, says Miss D'Angelo, standing up again. What's not fair is that because of the rude behavior in this class, we now don't have time to hear the rest of Cindy's fascinating speech. Miss D'Angelo turns to me. I'm so sorry, Sydney. If you want to share the rest of your speech with us, we can do this again next week. She's serious? I would rather die. That's okay, I say. I'm pretty much done. I'm not done, but I do not want to stand in front of those kids ever again. I go back to my seat, look over at Carolyn. She gives me an enthusiastic 2 thumbs up. I give her an enthusiastic 2 thumbs down. We both try not to laugh. You know, I think that was great for Zomorod to get up in front of the class, even though it was a short time for her to share. She exposed her classmates to some information that they didn't know anything about, and it started a good conversation about a different culture. So I thought it was a home run. All right, next chapter, and our last one for today. Actually, we're gonna stop there. I'm looking at the time, it's 15 minutes. I don't wanna go too long. So we will stop there. Thank you so much for watching as always. Again, enjoy this beautiful Tuesday. Toodles, everyone. Bye.